with us today Mr. Manoj Semwal, who is the Managing Director of Indian Port Rail and Ropeway Corporation Limited, which is now, in the scheme of things, as far as, developing Indian ports and not only in India, but also overseas is concerned. Because, a few months ago, the Minister, Mr. Sonowal, announced the forming of a Bharat Global Consortium which will develop and operate ports overseas. So Indian Port Rail and Ropeway Corporation is a key, stakeholder in that consortium. So in that respect, let me welcome Mr. Manoj Semwal. And, sir, good morning to you. Thank you for taking the time to come and talk to us. This is a pre-event discussion in the run-up to the September 25 event that we are holding on ports and shipping. To start off, sir, let me ask you, I think it was in February, post the budget that, this announcement was made. What is the progress of this now, Global Ports Consortium?
Good morning, Manojji. Thank you very much. First of all, I would like to thank Manojji and the Times Group for arranging this meeting. Regarding the Bharat Consortium, which you are talking about, it was formed in February, and after that, we have been successful in completing certain phases regarding what was the idea behind the formation of this. All the three companies, we have met together more than once, and we have shortlisted some of the ports, mainly in Africa and eastern part of the world, which are promising for India, and we hope to finalize some of these ports. Some are greenfield ports, some are brownfield ports, and we are hopeful that by the end of this year, at least 2 to 3 ports, we will be finalizing and moving ahead with all the activities of, say, developing them and starting the operations there.
Okay. So
I will not like to disclose the names at present, but yes, we have already identified the 10 to 12 ports, and we have discussed over those ports also.
Fair enough, sir. I can understand. I can imagine the sensitivities involved because, it's a very, very, everybody across the globe is looking at having assets overseas for the, entire supply chain, for the resilience of the supply chain and all of those things. So in terms of the partners, what is the role of the respective partners in this consortium?
See, there are 3 partners in this. One is IPGL, Indian Port Global Limited. IPGL is a company under Ministry of Ports and Shipping, which has an expertise of monitoring, running, and operating ports. It is already operating 2 ports outside India. So IPGL will be responsible for running the operations of the ports which we acquire. IPRCL is an infrastructure-based company. So IPRCL's role is to develop the infrastructure, maybe rail, road, electricity, or any buildings, etc. Then we have Sagarmala Development Corporation. That is a finance arm of Ministry of Ports and Shipping. It will be responsible for financing part. So these are the broad 3 roles which we have to play, and we 3 are the parts of the consortium.
Okay. So has this global consortium been registered as a company or something like that? Or are you in the process of?
All 3 companies are separately as a company, but consortium is not required to be registered.
Okay. Okay.
Consortium, it is not a legal requirement that a consortium should be registered. So we have entered through a deed and an agreement. All 3 companies have entered through an agreement which has been approved by our ministry and by our honorable minister. But it is not required to be registered, as it will not be a separate company.
Okay. And in that consortium, is there any equity partnership or anything like that? Or is it just a consortium?
No, it is not an equity partnership because all are the babies of Ministry of Port, Shipping and Waterways. All the finances will be through Sagarmala. Maybe it is from government, or maybe it is from the market, or maybe it is from banks. So the Sagarmala will be a company or a arm responsible for financing, but there is no equity sharing or equity partnership or such.
I mean, when the announcement came, I was, very, happy in the sense that, if you look at port development in India, for instance, containers basically. And in containers, we are saying that we are privatizing, but the operators who are coming there, be it DP World, be it PSA, they are all government-owned companies, right, in their respective countries. They have grown to such a big extent that they are now, kind of, so strong overseas. So I think it was high time that India also had something like this. So what is your thought on that?
Yeah, Manojji rightly pointed out, and now you must have observed also in last week that around four new bills have been passed regarding Ministry of Port, Shipping and Waterways. So this was
Exactly.
a thought behind, because all these bills and all these laws and operating the ports, they were very old. So now, keeping this in mind, whatever you said that the operators from across the world are coming and operating. So now the bills which have been passed all have this leverage for Indian companies as well as for ports and shipping themselves. So I think now we will see all these things coming up, that Indian companies will also be big operators, and we are also moving in that part. And also there are certain Indian companies, government companies also, which are moving in that field. So I think maybe in a year or two, we can also boast of ourselves that yes, Indian company is also one of the biggest port operator, like say DB World or any such form. So yes, the government has initiated in that direction, and I think we will follow suit.
Also, sir, port construction and development is typically a long gestation infrastructure. It will take a long time and all that. How do you plan to cut short the time and also seize the opportunity? Because, as I said earlier, a lot of, governments the world over are looking at, especially in the wake of the COVID, when they want, the supply chain chaos and all that. So how do you propose to pursue this plan, uh, in the shortest possible manner? How do you propose to go about it?
He rightly said that construction of a new port, it takes hell of a time also, and hell of a area and people's support and contribution. But what I feel and what we are doing in Ministry of Ports and Shipping and Waterways, all the existing ports, major ports, all the ports are planning for their extension. Maybe they are coming up with new terminals. Many of the ports have come up with new terminals. And constructing a new terminal, it takes 1 to 2 years. And what the government is planning and what the port should plan themselves is, they should make a study that what is the maximum capacity they can handle after their expansion. So first we should go for expansion of the already existing ports, say by the way of extension of existing terminals, by construction of new terminals, by construction of new railway lines, roads, networks for evacuation. And I think most of the ports are on that direction. And that will be the shortest time. Maybe in 2 years' time, we can double the capacity of existing capacity. And then, yes, for new ports, we shall always think of, and we are already coming up, say, Vadman port is coming up. But before this, the shortest and possible time will be to develop the existing ports to their fullest capacity, fullest extent what they can handle. This is
In
my
fact,
suggestion.
no, no, you are absolutely right there because, if it is an existing port, I mean, it's already there is an ecosystem available, and then, with least resistance because ports require a lot of land acquisition and various other things. There is always an opposition and all that. If there is an up and running port, why not? I mean, not only when you say
Most
expansion.
Manoj, from your, I like to take an opportunity here that say all the ports, they are financially sound
Correct.
and they are willing to invest in construction of railway tracks for themselves. So we are requesting Ministry of Railways also that they should consider ports as investors. But as per the existing rules, ports are not treated as investors. If the ports are treated as investors, they will be constructing railway tracks for themselves from the nearest railway network to the ports. And then
Uh-huh.
subsequently, the Indian Railways can give them discounts in their freight and subsidies like that. So
Correct.
I'll request Indian Railways also. We are requesting through various channels also. And if this can come up, all the ports are financially sound. They are willing to construct second, third, fourth railway tracks so that the evacuation is faster and the capacity can be improved for the port as well as for the nation.
Very well said. Very well said. I mean, coming from a railway background, I can imagine your suggestion is spot on, actually. And also, when you said about, trying out existing ports for expansion, they can also go into the outer harbor. Not
Yes.
only existing, they can go to the outer harbor, right?
Yeah,
For
outer harbor, say
expansion.
recently, Tuticorin Port, BOCPA, they have planned for outer harbor, and their tender was also floated, but due to certain constraints, the participation was not so as expected. But they are coming up with certain changes, and I think within a year or two, we'll see the outer harbor there.
Of course,
And
I mean, not
similarly, other
only.
ports will follow suit.
Correct. Not only to VOC port, I think Paradip port also has got an outer
Yeah,
harbor plan.
and
And
yeah.
yeah, why not? Why can't you leverage or maximize the potential of existing ports as to, sir? Okay, that's one thing. So I mean, in terms of, I mean, you are coming from a railway background, and as I said earlier, how important is railways? Because you can see some of the major ports are now helmed by people from the railways, Ministry of Railways. I mean, you are the classic example of that. What is the importance of railway to the port sector?
See, railways have been a part of port business in the past, and they will keep continuing to be a major business associates in the future also. Because most of the container business which is coming and which will be there in future also, railways are the cheapest mode for the transportation on land. And so the more the railway network, more the railway capacity we build, more cheaper and more faster will be the evacuation of the cargo from the ports. So railway will be the major source for evacuation. Maybe there are other sources. In China, we see water channels are there for evacuation. Government of India is also coming up through inland waterways. So those things may take time, but still the railways will be the major source. Roads, yes, roads are also a good source, but they can't compete railways because railway is cheaper, and uh, also in one shot you can transport around 70 to 80, 90, 100 containers at a time. So railways
Exactly.
are going to be a major players, and we should expand our network of railway transportation for the ports. That is
Yeah.
essential.
Yeah, I understand because a port is just a facilitator, right? Where ships come and unload cargo, load cargo. But to bring that cargo or evacuate that cargo, it requires a landside infrastructure in terms of transportation. So I think, in that way, railway people will be able to, bring a lot more value to the operations of the ports, and rightfully so. That is the reason why I think, many railway officers are now coming to the ports. They have a better understanding because it's all about logistics costs and all that, right? At the end of the day, the how your trade, your global trade, or your competitiveness depends on how you can control your costs, so that your trade benefits from that. So apart from this, when you look maybe a few years down the line, what is going to happen in the Indian port sector in terms of efficiency, productivity, best practices, and all that?
I think days are not far. At present, we have one of our ports which is in top 10 ports regarding the efficiency and turnaround times.
Yeah.
Days are not far when we will be having more than one port, say 3 to 4 ports in amongst the best efficient ports. As the things are going on, improvements are going on, say technological advancements are going on, digital technology is being adopted, artificial intelligence is being adopted. So yes, in last 3 to 4 years, if comparisons are made with the evacuation capacity or the turnaround times, they have drastically reduced. The turnaround time has drastically reduced, which is a good sign, good step that yes, Indian ports are improving in efficiency, and that is still continuing. And I think, yes, in another 3 to 4 years, we, at least 6 to 7 Indian ports will be among the top 10 ports. in terms of efficiency.
So what are the areas that require improvement for the Indian ports, if I may ask you? What are the
The
areas that
improvement first of all, the improvement is making necessary infrastructure improvements for faster evacuation of cargo from the ports. This includes, say, crane network. This includes railway network. This includes road network. This includes availability of open space in the port or near to the ports, so that the ships are not stranded, say, for 5 to 6 days, 7 days, 8 days for the availability of berth, providing additional berths. So all these things, yes, they require time, and all the ports are already on the job. And maybe another 3-4 years down the line, all the ports will come up to their maximum expected capacity of the cargo which they can handle. And then that will be the time when the evacuations are faster, when the turnaround times are faster, and the overall turnout or turnover of the port is, say, double than today. So main is the infrastructure, and all the ports are working on those infrastructures, because we are associated with those ports in many ways. So we are noticing, we are observing that yes, infrastructure upgradation is going on. Railway tracks, new railway tracks are going on. New railway sidings are coming up. The old railway tracks, railway rails are being replaced. The signaling is being improved. The diesel traction is being converted to electric traction. In conversion to electric traction in itself improves the efficiency by 15%. So all these things are coming up, and yes, these are for the better signs.
Yeah, so this IPRCL is coming under the Ministry of Port Shipping and Waterways or the Ministry of Railways?
No, it is under Ministry of Port Shipping and Waterways.
Port Shipping. And what are the projects that you are currently working on? If you can please run us through that.
Projects, we have around 11 field offices which are headed by our chief general managers, and majority of the projects are port based, which includes upgradation of fishing harbors, upgradation of railway sidings, changing of railway tracks, rails, providing of overhead electrical network. Also, we are a MOU partner with Coal India Limited. So we are providing all the railway assistance to Coal India's subsidiaries, which includes railway sidings, provision of new railway tracks, maintenance of railway tracks. We are doing maintenance in ports also. Besides that, we are constructing flyovers for MORTH. Then we are into building works also. We are coming up with a museum at Lothal, Indian Maritime Heritage Complex. So there are many such. And recently we have entered into a MOU with government of Maharashtra also through their PSU, and we will be coming up for buildings here, towers, high-rise towers. So we are into quite a number of fields.
So these are basically EPC contracts?
Yeah, 90% are EPC.
EPC, okay. And it's not like a long-term concession. You are not into operational part. You are
No. We are
only
not
into
into
farming.
operation, or we are not into operation so far.
Right. Yeah. Good, sir. Is there anything else that you would like to say, sir? Because whatever I wanted to ask, I have asked you, and leave the rest to the, event when we meet there. But if there is anything that you would like to convey to our esteemed audience, you know.
Besides this, what you forgot is ropeway also. Ropeway is also one of our mandated work, and
Right.
we are the only, say, company of government which has mandate in all the three fields. We have mandate for roads, we have mandate for railways, we have mandate for ropeways. So ropeways, we have already submitted and finalized around 40 DPRs and final designs in around 18 states of the country in the last 5 years. And now we have shifted to ropeway construction also. And now we are planning to execute ropeway projects also. So we are already in advanced talks, say, with the many state governments. And that vertical also will be opening soon, and we will enter into ropeway construction also. In ropeway design, we are already there. Consultancy, we are already there, but in ropeway construction also, we are trying to enter.
How do you think that platform like ET Infra is going to help you or the government in popularizing or letting the public know about all these things?
I think ET Infra is a good initiative and you are doing a good job. Otherwise, there are many companies which are working into isolation and they are performing very well. But they are not being focused what they require. Focus not for propaganda, but focusing to do good work and to assist all the other organizations and public and do better jobs. So AT Infra, I am really thankful that you have chosen IPRCL. It is not a big company, IPRCL, but yes, for last 10 years in operation, its performance has been very good. Although I have joined this company last 1 year ago also, only. So I thank IT Infra and I appreciate your efforts, and please do continue bringing such new companies, new organizations, maybe private, government to the limelight so that they are motivated to function better.
That's the idea, sir. That's the idea. Anyway, it was a pleasure talking to you. Thank you so much for your
Thank
time.
you,
We look
Manoj. Thank you,
forward to
Manoj. Thank
hosting
you, IT
you.
Infra.
We look forward to hosting you on 25th September at a panel discussion. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Manoj. Thank you, IT
Yeah.
Infra. Thank you very much.